na yan. We need missile boats. We need missile-capable multi-purpose attack craft. Itong missile boats ito, it will be like PT boats, but instead of torpedoes, they should be armed with missiles with a range of maybe about 50 to 100 kilometers. Very deployable, very mobile, and easy to hide. And land-based missiles. And for a while, this appeared to be the strategy. They approved the plan of the Philippine government. This is the they approved in 2012 the acquisition of 2 Maestrale second-hand frigates, missile frigates from Italy. Ito naman yung mga missile boats that could be used. This is an example of a BrahMos land-based missile, and ito yung Hayabusa missile boat from Japan, which are very ideal for warfare in the South China Sea, defensive capability. This was 2012. And if that materialized, 2013 pa lang, andito na yung 2 Maestrale missile frigates. But for some reason, the government decided to cancel that and instead decided to get 2 brand new frigates from a private supplier. Pero awa ng Diyos, hanggang ngayon hindi pa na-bid out dito. I don't know what's happening. So, if we'll be lucky, if we get that if we bid it out within the year, or maybe next year, we'll be lucky to have it not in 2017, but maybe 2018 or 2019. But we needed those frigates yesterday, last year, 2 years ago. Ito yung Maestrale frigates that we could have acquired from Italy. And this was on a government-to-government basis, no possible hanky-panky. This was what the government decided to buy. The FA-50 fighter jets, actually traded jets, but convertible into real fighters from Korea, with a budget for 12 fighter jets, a budget of 18 billion pesos. Yung Maestrale, we could have gotten that for 12 billion only. But we decided to cancel that, and instead we are supposed to order 2 brand new frigates for the price of 18 billion, a difference of 6 billion. But as I said, the major disadvantage there is that it would take 3 to 4 years for those ships to be delivered. Now, the other very disappointing development is the government also approved the acquisition of shore-based missile system. Okay na sana yan. So that we can have what I mentioned earlier, an area denial and anti-access weapon that will prevent intruders from going into most part of the West Philippine Sea through a shore-based missile system. But again, very disappointingly, they canceled this and instead they decided to acquire helmets and vests and other force protection equipment that I don't think we need as badly as a shore-based missile. So this is an example of what a shore-based missile can do in order to discourage intruders from going into our West Philippine Sea. Commander of a ship, let's say you're a Chinese commander, you know that maybe about 100 kilometers away in the passages of Palawan, there are some hidden shore-based missiles there. You'd think twice, 3 times before intruding into the West Philippine Sea. But now, we don't have those weapons, so they're free to move around unchallenged and not worried about our defense system. And you know what is very strange is that just the other day there was this headline: Philippines aware of serious situation in disputed seas. That's the palace. If they're aware, how come they cancel the shore-based missile system? That to me has been a big puzzle. So there's an urgent need to develop a credible defense capability, as I mentioned earlier. And of course, another addition would be EDCA. You know, we have this EDCA, Expanded Defense Cooperation Agreement with the United States that is now under review by the Supreme Court. If we have that, then we will have better access to some defense capability from the United States because they are our treaty allies. If we want them to help us in case of a conflict, we should give them temporary access to our bases in the Philippines like Subic, Ulugan Bay, and also the airstrip in the Clark area. China has been very aggressive, but you know, because of its aggressiveness, China has triggered a coalition against itself. Alam niyo, nung high school tayo, Ed, no? Boy, di ba sa high school merong bully? Pag may bully, kinatatakutan ng marami. Pero pag sumobra yung bully, what's going to happen is that many school boys are going to band together, ally with even the principal, with teachers, with parents, in order to gang up on the bully. And that is emerging with respect to what China is happening. China is a big power. Look at the kind of power that they have. They have one aircraft carrier, not brand new, still untested. They have several world-class submarines, nuclear powered. They have 24 big destroyers and a lot of aircraft fighter like 75 Su-27, 205 J-11, the one I mentioned earlier, 214 J-10 multi-role fighters. But there's an emerging security alliance against China's aggressiveness in the South China Sea. That coalition triggered by the aggressiveness of China. Of course, at the vanguard is the United States. The U.S. already said that they are not they're going to challenge the position of China with respect to China's sea claims as a result of the reclamation. And they challenge that by deploying this P-8 Poseidon. You know, this is supposed to be a maritime surveillance aircraft, but it can do more than surveillance. It's equipped with missiles, it can defend itself, it can fight a frigate from about 200, 300 nautical miles away because of its own cruiser missiles and other potent missiles. It can sink a submarine. Warning from the U.S. Defense Secretary, we will remain the principal security power in the Asia-Pacific for decades to come. They are the bully right now in this part of the world. And you know, when you're the bully, when you're the hegemon, you don't want another bully. So they have made it very clear. They said, make no mistake, the U.S. will fly, sail, and operate wherever international law allows, as we do all around the world. And they're bullies. It's a good thing we are friendly to that bully because we have a mutual defense treaty with them. There's the United States Navy, and very surprisingly, this is an old story. But all of a sudden, they came out with a repeat of this story, announcing that they're going to deploy a new $7 billion warship. Can you imagine that? Just one warship is worth $7 billion. The latest, this is high-tech, the Zumwalt DDG guided missile destroyer 1000 with an awesome capability to defend itself and to attack other forces. It can be a one-man wrecking team. It can destroy one city. It has stealth capability. It can creep in according to their boast. It can go inside Manila Bay, for example, without us detecting that it's inside using our ordinary radar. It cannot be seen by anti-missile, by a fire control radar. Of course, that's a pivot to Asia. And they have deployed so many forces all over the Pacific, in Japan, in Korea, in Australia, in Singapore, and they're talking with Thailand, of course, our proposed EDCA and Mutual Defense Treaty. Japan is not a small power. Japan is one of the biggest powers in the world. It is not as big a country as China, but if you ask me, its military power is even superior to that of China in quality. They have these 2 aircraft carriers for helicopters, but convertible for fixed wing planes. They have very good submarines, a lot of good missile destroyers, the Aegis class that can counter the Pengdong missile, the Dongfeng missile that I mentioned earlier. And a very big Air Force, 213 F-15 made by Mitsubishi. 82 Mitsubishi F-2 is a very good fighter. And they ordered 42 F-35 and an additional 28. You know, the moment they deploy this, and these are for delivery next year, 2016, this is going to be a game changer in the East China Sea area. These are the F-35, and China has nothing right now that can match the F-35 the moment that Japan will be able to deploy them. Japan says South China security impacts national interest. They've already made a declaration, and because of that, they changed their defense policy in 2 ways. To allow Japan to exercise the right of collective self-defense, or the right to come to the aid of a friendly nation under attack. What is that? The Philippines can be a friendly nation under attack that gives them the right to exercise a collective self-defense. And the second bill is to create a permanent law allowing the government to dispatch the SDF overseas to provide logistics support to a foreign force engaged in an armed combat. In other words, even if they are not the ones threatened, but a friendly foreign force is the one threatened, they can help. Their self-defense force can help. India is also there, it's a big power. India to monitor shipping in the South China Sea. Why are they concerned about the South China Sea? Because they have a joint development project with Vietnam for oil. Oil is very important to India. And according to them, India will not hesitate to use naval power to protect economic interests in the South China Sea. And what kind of military power do they have? They have 2 aircraft carriers. They have submarines. They have stealth brigads. They construct their own brigads. They have a lot of planes. Australia is there also. Australia issued a warning. Australia sent strong warning to China over controversial land reclamation program. And they have this boated force. Vietnam is there also, the closest neighbor of China. Vietnam has a small force. They have a lot of planes, but they recently ordered 6-kilo class submarines from Russia. And I understand 2 or 3 of them have been delivered already. And the moment these 6 submarines are fully operational, this would wreak havoc on the PLA Navy. And of course, the Philippines must help in strengthening this emerging alliance. One of that is by offering, my proposal is for the Philippines to offer the Pag-asa Island for use by friendly forces, like for example, the United States, Japan. I was with former President Fidel Ramos last night, and his idea is even more forceful than my idea. He wants F-35 U.S. fighter planes to be stationed in the Pag-asa area, and that makes military sense, because if China has these forces in the Paracos area and also in the Paracels, you put the Pag-asa right in between, it cuts off these forces here. It will help neutralize this area. Plus, it can be easily supported by Palawan, especially Ulugan, and prevent China from going further to Scarborough Shoal and militarizing it the way they're militarizing the Paracos Reef area. So now what's happening is China versus the world. And very surprisingly, just early this month, no less than the ASEAN made an announcement. Before, this was a no-no. ASEAN was always a little reluctant to make a strong statement against China. But because of the reclamation projects, I think they now saw that China has overplayed their cards. So the ASEAN has made a very strong statement to stand up to Beijing over the South China Sea. ASEAN finally makes united stand on China.